You're not a little girl anymore. Nobody has to tell you what to do. You don't have to make decisions that makes everyone happy and satisfied and comfortable. You don't have to be afraid to be you. You don't have to be afraid to live in your truth. Okay, so I want to ask you something, but I need for you to actually be willing to sit with it. Don't just answer the question in your head and move on. Really ask yourself the question. When was the last time your life felt like yours? Not your job, not your responsibility, not the version of you that always has to show up for everybody else, just yours. Because I've been thinking a lot lately, and if I'm completely honest, I think a lot of us are living lives that look like they're doing really, really well from the outside, but on the inside, they are hollow. And that is because we're not living in our truths. We're not doing the things that we really want to do. We're not really pursuing our dreams. We're allowing ourselves to be boxed in. So again, I ask you, when was the last time your life has actually felt like your own? Not you making a decision based on your kids, not you making a decision based on your spouse, not you making a decision based on your job. I want to know, do you enjoy being a parent? Do you enjoy being a wife? Do you enjoy this career path you've decided to go down? Do you really want to go back to school, or are you doing it because people told you you should? Do you really want to have another child? Do you really want to get married? Or are these just things and steps and decisions you've made based on what society, what your family, what your parents, what your friends, what all of the people around you have told you that you should be doing? Or is this some fantasy that you created when you were just a little girl and you have sworn yourself to stick to it because you want to see it through, because you felt like this was your happy ending? Have you stripped away your right to be able to change your mind? Have you stripped away your chances at pursuing other opportunities? Are you still that little girl chasing after a dream? Because if that is you, we need to bring you to current time today, because you're no longer a little girl. You're a grown woman. You have grown woman needs. You have grown woman desires. And you deserve to be living in that space. You're not a little girl anymore. Nobody has to tell you what to do. You don't have to make decisions that makes everyone happy and satisfied and comfortable. You don't have to be afraid to be you. You don't have to be afraid to live in your truth. The scariest thing about living in your truth, the hardest part about being you, is you. You are afraid of what you may actually do. You've locked yourself down into this box and you're afraid to break out of it because you don't know what you may do. You may even surprise yourself because you have told yourself that this is how life should be. I made a post recently and I was talking about how people on podcasts, people in friend groups, you need to stop convincing people to stay in situations, more so relationships, but stop convincing people who you love and care about to stay in situations that they are no longer happy in. And I know that a lot of people are going to say happiness is fleeting. That is true to an extent. But I think it's clear to see when someone we care about is miserable in a situation. And you have to look beyond what you would want for yourself or what you would be willing to settle for. And also because just because something looks good on paper, sounds good on paper, does not mean that it's good. Just because a person is a good person doesn't mean that they're a good person for you. I've heard plenty of conversations that have happened. We're going to talk about women because we're women listening to this, but this also can apply to men. But I've heard plenty and plenty of times where people have been in relationships and they do not want to be with that person for whatever reason. I have no clue. There could be a plethora of reasons of why they are no longer happy in that relationship. And I have heard people, either from podcasts or family members or friends, tell them that's a good man and you need to stay in that relationship. You need to figure it out. You need to love him. You need to make this relationship work because this is a good man. And it's because he is a good man why I say you should let him go. I say you should set him free because I feel like it is a very, very selfish thing to stay with someone just because you feel like you leaving the situation will make you look like a bad person because they are a good person. Leaving a healthy relationship because it is not fulfilling to you does not make you a bad person. Because if it was just meant for all good people to be together, then there wouldn't be any good single people out here in the world if that were the case. If that's the case, then the next nice good person that you meet, the one that works with you down the hall, the sweetest guy who's always going to go get your coffee at work and asking you if you need any help and asking you if you want some lunch and always there to help you. He'll even come and help you fix some things around the house. He's always there for you, but you just don't find him attractive, and nothing in your spirit says, oh my God, I want this man. Okay, ladies, I know things are just getting good and I hate to interrupt, but if you made it this far and you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit subscribe because, girl, I know you want to join the club. I know you want to be in the in crowd because you don't want to miss out on this amazing journey that we are going on together. And if you find yourself needing any kind of quick advice, make sure you go ahead, go down to the show notes, and there's an option for you to send me a voice note and you will get a response in 24 hours. 24 hours. And you never know, it could be sooner. The same reason why you shouldn't pursue him is the same reason why that person shouldn't be with who they're with. Because we have to be honest here, okay? A lot of us get into situations and it's not because we love them. I'm going to be honest. I got into relationships when I was in a very broken space and I committed my body, my energy, and my time to those people because I just needed someone to fill the space. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be lonely. I didn't want to have to go and sift through my feelings by myself because if I sit with myself for too long, I may have to actually face the things that are wrong with me. And at that time, I was not prepared to do that. So I got into that relationship. Now, were they good? Were they good men? Hell no. But there are some people who have been in that very spot and have gotten into a relationship with a good man. And somewhere along that journey, she probably got better. She probably did forgive herself for past decisions. She did learn healthier ways for dealing with her depression. She did learn better ways and she's found herself again. And now that she's found herself again, she realizes that this is not the person for her. This is not the relationship for her, and it's time for her to move on. And I 100% support it because I'm a true believer that once you know for certain that something or someone is no longer meant for you, you should let them go. You should let them go. Have an adult conversation. It doesn't always have to end in chaos. A lot of drama in relationships can be avoided if we just communicate our feelings to the other person. And if this were a man that we were talking about, I suggest the same thing for men. If you feel like this situation is no longer serving for you, have a conversation and figure out a way for you guys to part ways because it's not fair for you to have the other party thinking that they are working hard to save a relationship that you know cannot be saved because mentally and emotionally you are no longer there. You're there physically, but mentally and emotionally you are no longer there. You have to let them go. And we can also pivot into careers. Personally, I can say right now, I know that I'm in a space where it's time for me to move on. When it comes to my discernment and me catching signs when it comes to relationships and men, let me tell you, that can be a little shaky. But when it comes to my career moves and jobs, I can always feel it in my spirit when it's time for me to move on. And I know a lot of people are like, move in silence, but I'm really moving into a phase of I want to live in my future. I'm here in the present and I understand and I accept what is today, but I want to speak positivity and speak life into my future. So I am going to verbally say, I know that it's time for me to move into something better, something bigger, something that allows me to be more expressive, something that allows me to grow and flourish more. I'm not meant to be in a box. And I truly believe that my time where I'm at now, as far as my career goes, is coming to an end. So I'm preparing myself for that transition. And I don't feel bad for sharing it with people. For a while, I was thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't be telling people about this. Like, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to put any negative juju on it. What if somebody from work finds out? What if, but I'm not worried about that because I know that the road has already been paved for me. I just have to take the steps. And I don't want to be afraid of speaking life into myself and accepting my truth and what my situation is. So, bringing it back to getting into careers, sometimes we get jobs just because we need the money. Sometimes we do love the job when we first get there, and sometimes we love the job, but we don't love the people. And that is completely fine. And I know it's a lot of us right now who are working jobs because we have to, and or we're working them just because we're comfortable and we know that it's time for us to make a move, but we don't want to do it. But let me tell you, it's better for you to be prepared than to be caught off guard, because even if you don't want to make a move, sometimes God will move you. And I would much rather for you to have already been preparing yourself for the transition than for you to be caught off guard. Because when we don't want to be places, we already know how it is. Listen, you go from overperforming to giving about 20 or 30% at work. And you cannot go around pretending as if it goes unnoticed, because it does not. People can see your attitude changing. People can tell that you don't want to be there. They can tell that you're slacking off on work. They can tell you no longer care that you're pulling into the parking lot 2 minutes before your shift starts, and you still gonna sit in the parking lot and you gonna finish and let that song finish playing, and then you're gonna get your stuff together. You're gonna return a text or two. You may even post something on Instagram, and you're gonna be walking you're gonna be walking in the door 5 to 10 minutes after, and you don't even care because you don't want to be there. And why do you have to be there? I tell you, sometimes blessings look really different, especially when it comes to jobs. A lot of times we're always looking for the money, like monetarily. Listen, where the money resides. That's me. I'm that girl. I'm definitely looking for the money, but I'm also looking for things like work-life balance. Are they open 24 hours? Do I have to be available to work all these crazy shifts? Are my shifts changing? What kind of benefits do you have? How much do you invest? How much does the company put into our 401k? Or do you have options for me to work remote? I look for other things now, not just the money, because there are some things that money just really cannot buy. When you look at the morale of a company, That can tell you a lot. That can really tell you a lot, because I'm going to tell you something. It's no different from dating a rich man who's an asshole. Never done it before, but I can only imagine how long you're going to last doing that. That's the same thing when it comes to a job. If they give you a hefty paycheck, but the people there are shitty, the money's not going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough. So why even put yourself through that, right? And it's not to say that you're going to constantly be jumping around or, doing things, because I'm not going to lie, we can make hormonal decisions, and sometimes we can feel like it's time for us to do something or really just want to do it and make an impulsive decision. But you know yourself. You know when this feels impulsive, or when this has been a reoccurring thought and it has progressively gotten worse over time. When you experience that, it's time for you to make a move. So I don't want you to get so caught up in what life should be like, what life should look like. And I don't want you to be afraid to be the villain, because you're not the villain. You're just living your life. And when you're being honest and true with yourself, you're going to be honest and true with others. And even though it may be painful, you can never avoid the inevitable. Whether the relationship is going to end in a healthy, peaceful way today, or is it going to end with you guys hating each other 3, 4, 5 years from now because you no longer respect them, you no longer show up, and you're pretending like everything is okay? Are you going to leave this job and part ways, not burning any bridges? Or are you going to burn everything down to the ground and make sure you can never return because they fired you due to your lack of performance? So what I'm saying is, you have the ability to write your own story. I don't care what people may say. We all know God has the last say so, but God also put us in control to make decisions for ourselves. That is the one thing that I truly love about God. I love that He gave us the opportunity to make decisions. We have the right to choose. Either you're going to go left or you're going to go right. But the amazing part about it is, no matter which road you choose, He's going to be there with you. So again, I ask you, what are you afraid of? Because you're never alone. I want to thank you guys so much for sitting through this episode. It has been such a pleasure. And if there's any woman that you feel like needs to hear this message, please make sure you share this with her. And also, I would love it if you just took a moment to engage with this episode, because I really want to start connecting with you guys. And I want to know, what is it that you want to talk about? What is it that you want to hear? Is there anything that you want to hear my perspective on? Always feel free to share it down in the comments. It has been amazing, and I will see you guys next week. But until then, make sure you take care of yourself.